Hey everybody, how you doing today? The sun just came out. It was raining like 30 seconds ago, and here's the sun. How about that? Just for me. Sorry if the mic is getting all winded on. Nothing I can do about that. Out here with my little guy. Here he comes. Little windswept ears. We got a dog coming up here, so he might have a little bark fest, but we'll see. We'll see. My little guy likes to bark at other dogs, especially. It's like a husky coming up here. Huskies are his nemesis. He was attacked by huskies a couple of times when he was younger. Hey, how you doing today? Here's a good boy, buddy. There's a good boy, buddy. What a good little boy. What a good little. What a good boy. All right. Well, I hope you guys are all doing well during this COVID-19 crisis. I hope you're isolating. I hope it's tough, right? It's tough to stay away from the people you love. It's tough it's this odd kind of thing where we're simultaneously told, like, stay home, don't go to work, right? But it's not free time. It's stasis time. It's I mean, I think if you're wise, I'm not, but if you are, I bet you're taking time to sort of self-improve, to investigate those pursuits that you've always wanted to sort of fuel that kind of craving. This is something that doesn't get a lot of talk in our society, right? That people have like these underlying cravings, right? These sort of spiritual and supernatural sensations that are inexplicable and unexplainable, right? People suddenly, like, there's this wonderful Monty Python sketch that I feel like encapsulates kind of what I'm talking about, where there's two gentlemen sitting in a room. It's a doctor's office, and one leans over to the other and says, "Oh, so what are you in for?" And the other goes, "Oh, I've got a bad case of poetry." "Oh, yes," says the other. Short stories for me." And I feel like that kind of encapsulates what it is to be an artist, but also what it is to have a dream or a desire or some kind of underlying thing. Is that sketch places it not as sort of a joyous thing that they get to pursue, but rather as an affliction, something that they just suddenly are struck with, and that they have to do something about, or else they are crippled or incapacitated or restless or unsatisfied with what's going on around them. And I feel like that's something that is often denied in our society, that it's because our society is not built to facilitate people pursuing these kinds of underlying, not understood desires or paths, right? People don't become painters because they want to make a bunch of money from it, or because they have a rational desire to it. It's always kind of this irrational, or not irrational, but a non-rational pull towards these sorts of activities that our capitalist death cult calls non-productive. That if you are to answer the call of this kind of supernatural, or I shouldn't say supernatural, I should say like ultra-natural. It's the most natural thing to have a desire to express something, that your subconscious wants you to express something through some kind of art form or some kind of activity. And the capitalist death cult calls that laziness. That if it doesn't directly benefit some worthless middleman who you've never met and who has never worked a day in their life, then it's not work. And this kind of gets into exactly the thing I want to be talking about today, which is the many lies of the capitalist death cult. And there is an endless supply. I typically make these videos only about 20-25 minutes because I think there's a cap at 30 for each video for me. And so I have to narrow it, right? That it's the most difficult thing that I think people are struggling with right now is they're struggling with the idea that everything they've been told has been a lie. Like everything they've been told, everything you've been told by the capitalist death cult has been a lie. There isn't one thing that has been true. And if it is true, it's this half-truth kind of situation where they'll tell you half of the story. And the only reason a capitalist ever tells you the truth is so that they can omit half of it through the lie of omission in order to create a narrative that doesn't actually exist. And this false this creation of false narratives is the primary function of the capitalist death cult. Because first and foremost, they need you to be convinced that they're not a death cult, right? It's that old line, right? The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing you he didn't exist. And so when it comes to the capitalist death cult, the trick that they're pulling is that they're trying to convince you that they're great. When the reality is it's a system of death. They're not interested in doing anything to help you. And in fact, all of the evidence is showing, if you have eyes to see it, that they take pleasure, they derive pleasure from your misery. That the purpose of many of their actions is not the profit motive or not this. It's while you are pursuing that kind of underlying craving to express yourself through art or to express yourself through some kind of creative activity, they are pursuing their underlying craving for blood. Not an overstatement. Just today, another it was Blankfin or Blankfine, one of those rich billionaires, came out and said, we got to put more people back to work. It's a call for bloodlust. It's a call for sacrifice to the capitalist death cult, to their god, the invisible hand. And my hope is that as we move forward in this crisis, that more and more people really do understand that we're ruled by a death cult and that the death cult is lying to you about every single thing. The ideology of individualism, a lie, a total farce of a lie, to the point now where the people espousing it are not different than anti-vaxxers or flat earthers. And that's what I've been telling them. I've been saying it directly to them now. And I don't think there's any reason to back off on that. If you're standing up and you're saying that it's up to the individual amidst a pandemic, you're a flat earther, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of your intellectual capability. And in terms of the kind of wisdom that you have in the world, I feel like it's time for you to put on that tinfoil hat and go hide in your bunker, because there's all the evidence you need in the world to show you that the ideology of individualism fails and was always a lie. It was always just a way to keep people grinding away for the capitalist death cult. That you just need to keep chasing that rainbow, keep chasing that dream, keep selling your time to the capitalist-controlled market, keep selling your time, your labor. And that's another lie, right? Another lie is that we need capitalists. We need capitalists. Well, no, we need capital, right? Capital that has been withheld from the populace by worthless middlemen, right? There's no reason a billionaire should exist. There's no reason for this overwhelming wealth to exist. It could be stripped away from them and redistributed into the society. It could be used by labor to do any manner of things, because it's labor that actually matters. Labor is what matters. Capital is just some sort of made up thing. Like, they're taking money, which is something that doesn't really exist, we just made it up, and they're exploiting their exclusive rights to it in order to put that carrot forward, so that you'll just constantly be chasing after that carrot. And their lies that they tell, the overwhelming lies. For example, like, why is there such a thing as a private bank? To me, that seems overtly like you're asking for it. You're asking to be exploited. You're saying to an individual, sure, we'll give you control of the supply of our money. And oh yeah, nothing evil or bad or any of that could possibly happen. And then they go ahead and sell their shares to some billionaire who you'll never meet, who doesn't care about you, and who will abandon you the second he possibly can. And we act surprised. I don't understand why we continue to tolerate this behavior. I mean, my position is that the banks should be nationalized, that the only banks that exist should be public banks that operate for the benefit of, oh, guess who? The public, right? This is another huge capitalist lie, like another huge lie of the capitalist death cult, is that private institutions are more efficient. Well, we've seen how that's a lie, right? We've seen how the market collapses under even the most modest amount of stress. I mean, this is what's happening during a coronavirus, during like a pandemic virus scare. What do you think is going to happen when climate change starts occurring? What do you think is going to happen when the forests start burning down? What do you think is going to happen, right? Do you think the market's going to hop to it and they're going to jump and they're going to try and find solutions? Do you think that that's serious? I don't think that's serious. Like, I mean, it's serious, obviously. The place is going to burn down. But the response from the market is going to be a big there's going to be money to be made after the forest fire, right? There's going to be money to be made buying cheap assets from the companies that collapse, just like is happening now. And that's, I think, another big capitalist lie. We're all in this together. No, we're not, right? Some people have been thrown overboard, right? They're swimming in the ocean. And then along comes this giant yacht. And the giant yacht zooms by, and it's completely empty except one person. And you shout out, "Hey, can you help? Can you pick some of us up?" And they just shout, "Pick yourself up by your bootstraps." Right? We're not in this together. We've been abandoned. And it's very obvious. Michael Bloomberg can spend $500 million on a failed election electoral bid. Where's his money now? Where is he now? Is he making ventilators? Is he buying up property? Is he doing any of that stuff? What about Bezos? What about these guys? Where are they? Well, they're nowhere. We've been abandoned. You understand? Because that's how the system's designed. The system is designed to abandon you. You're supposed to be abandoned. That's the purpose. Your desperation is baked into the system of the capitalist death cult. And so, and over and over and over again, like it's getting to be predictable. Anything that comes out of the capitalist death cult, I look at and I just go, I assume they're lying. First and foremost, and then I do even the most basic research, literally like a Google. And I find out everything liars, and that they're completely lying. Like the look at Venezuela meme. The look at Venezuela meme that came out of the fascist right is unbelievable. You literally need to do 30 seconds of research, not even a little bit of research, to figure out what's going on in Venezuela. Like, if you listen to the corporate media, to the media of the capitalist death cult, the troubles of Venezuela are self-inflicted because of socialism. And here they use the lie of omission very readily. They'll show you the crises that are occurring in Venezuela, but they'll completely omit that it's the sanctions that are causing them. They'll completely omit that the American government is funneling, is attempting to collapse the Venezuelan economy. They'll completely omit the economic war that's going on in Venezuela, caused completely by the Americans. They're not interested in having that conversation because they're psychopathic liars who are interested in enslaving you first and foremost. And we need to start seeing lies. We need to start accepting that they are liars. They're never going to tell you the truth. And when they speak, we need to begin. We do not begin by addressing their point. We begin by saying to their faces, you are liars. You have been lying this whole time. I don't believe you. And then you can go and do the 30 seconds of research required to show them exactly how they're a liar. But it should be done now. We should be over it. Like, I am to the point now with my political class and my politicians, where if I see that they have said one lie, one lie, it's over. I'm not interested in them anymore. That's why I don't vote liberal, right? They said that they were interested in electoral reform. That was a lie, right? The second the electoral reform wasn't going to break their way, the second it became obvious that they weren't going to be able to exploit the system for their own benefit, they stopped doing it because they're liars. And while it's good of them to have passed the legislation that they have in order to deal rationally with this crisis that we're facing currently, I have no doubt in my mind that they are going to just hand the society right back over to the capitalist death cultists, and they're going to say, oh yeah, business as usual, right? Back to business, back to the economy. Oh yeah, this touches on another really big one, another really big lie that is that the capitalist death cult has entrenched, right? And this one's actually a really tough knot to unravel, which is the lie of the economy, right? We have to save the economy. The lie here is that the economy is a system that's designed to benefit all of us. No, it isn't. It isn't. And when you take a quick look, I'm talking 30 seconds, guys. Like, it doesn't take a lot of time to actually see. Once you accept that they're lying to you, right? It takes no time at all to see how they're lying to you. The economy quote unquote, that they've built is essentially a handful of billionaires who earn their wealth by exploiting the populace, who earn their wealth by literally dynastic slavery in many cases, who exploit the desperation of the working class, and have stated that they want to ensure that the working class remains desperate openly. And now they sit on these enormous piles of wealth that they will not invest, and they lied to you about that too, by the way. They always said that the wealth would quote unquote trickle down, right? That the wealth would come down, right? In their voodoo economics, right? It's fitting that the capitalist death cult uses voodoo economics. And so the wealth has not trickled down, obviously. It's not interested in doing that because it was always a lie. And the economy that they fight so hard to maintain is an economy of death. It's designed to kill. It's designed to murder. And so you have these billionaires who hoard wealth. And here's where things get really messed up, because people assume that billionaires want this system to remain intact. If you're a billionaire, you don't care. The economy collapsing is a feature of the economy. It's not a bug, right? They don't care that the workers get abandoned. They don't care that it plunges people into poverty. They obviously don't care, like obviously don't care. And what it does is it means that, oh well, that system collapsed as it was designed to do, to tell me, the exploiting billionaire, that I don't need to invest any more effort into that. So I'll just move on to something else. And during times of crises, it actually gives billionaires the opportunity to buy up cheap assets. So it completely works in their favor, right? They just go off in their yacht or whatever. It doesn't matter to them at all. And they just go along. And so when people fight tooth and nail for this quote-unquote economy, what they're actually fighting for is the wealth of the billionaire class that will abandon them the second it benefits them. Like, we've got to get smarter than this. We've got to get smarter than this, right? The billionaire class does not care about you. The capitalist death cult is lying to you every step of the way. If their mouth is open, they have lied to you. The trouble is that they've taken over so much of the machine, of the machinery, right? The corporate news media, their propaganda outlets, their bought political parties, every step of the way. And so at this stage, what it's going to require, and it's going to require mass general strikes at this stage in the game. If here in Canada, I think a lot of tension has been alleviated. I don't think that's the trajectory for Canada. But down in the States, boy, do I ever see that happening. Boy, do I ever see that happening. And that's what's going to have to be. It's going to have to be general strikes, occupations of public sources. It's going to take a massive movement of the populace in order to collapse the capitalist death cult. And we have to do it, and we have to do it fast. Climate change is on our doorstep. Another thing they're lying to you about. All right, guys, good luck out there. That's my time. I hope you're having fun. I love you all.